Back during my night vision video on the series Petscop, I'll let you all know that watching so many new web series and projects does indeed have an effect on my own desires for media. I tend to think of a lot of ideas for web series and online storytelling projects, and I've got my own growing mental list of topics and approaches I would love to see taken. Petscop hit the target of an original video game creepypasta adapted to our field perfectly, and now another newcomer has just fulfilled a wish I've had for a while: a fully animated web series. Game coding is hard, complicated, and time-consuming, and good animation work is just as difficult in different ways. That's why the appearance of the cute and eerie CatGhost back in June of this year was such a miracle. I'm probably getting ahead of myself a bit here, but CatGhost isn't just succeeding in the difficult work of animation, it's hitting the game development field too. Currently, the channel is comprised of 3 videos, all of which come with a game you can access through a link in the video description that directly ties in with the episode. This channel isn't just attacking one tough route of work, it's taking 2 and delivering on both forms of media with every upload. And the approach seems to be working. Beyond the quality and content appeal of CatGhost, which we'll get to in a moment, viewers seem to be drawn in by this odd creation in droves. The first video alone already has over 6,000 views, and during its short lifespan so far of just under 3.5 months, CatGhost has racked up over 1,300 subscribers. The growth rate actually reminds me a lot of Petscop before it was picked up by major websites for news articles and went viral. I've wanted to see a fully animated web series for quite a while. None of that keyframe-to-keyframe slideshow stuff done by somebody using MS Paint. A real, genuine attempt at animating and doing a good job, showing the creator's talent. That's what I've been after, and finally, we've got a live one. Just from checking out the YouTube page, you'll see the general concept from the video images. We have a ghost, a cat, and a hedgehog or porcupine who seem to be the main characters, and some odd things to come from the background of CatGhost 1, Birthday, and the Golden Head in Episode 2, Knock. The immediate impression is that you're in for something cute, funny, and maybe a bit odd, especially when you take a look at the channel's profile and banner images. The cat character is melting, obviously in a sad state from its frown and the fact that it's melting, and seems to be placed against a backdrop of fire. The banner image has the title of the series over a black and white photo of deep woods. Like we've seen in Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, there's an approach of making this project look cute and innocent while giving a strong indication that something isn't quite right here. Open up the first video, Birthday, and your suspicions will absolutely be confirmed. So right off the bat, we can make a connection between the very opening scene and the background of the profile image, highlighting the major importance of fire before being handed off to the title sequence and then, of course, the actual content of the video. I think the first scene is all you really need to get a sense of the main line of atmosphere and attitude in the series.
Look at him, sleeping like a baby.
Yeah, like a fat, little baby.
Like a little, fat, ugly baby.
Like a fat, ugly, little abandoned baby.
Because the baby was so fat and ugly, no one would ever love him.
Gideon!
Oh, jeez. Oh, awesome. It's you too. What do you want?
Rise and shine, birthday boy. It's time for a surprise.
I'm sorry. I think you've made a mistake. It's not my birthday. Now go away.
Get dressed, 'cause we're going to party country.
Please explain what party country is.
It's a magical, wonderful land filled with bumper cars, arcade games, and laser tag.
We just discovered it last week.
Wow. Just let me finish my nap and I'll get right on that.
Gideon, if you don't get up, we're gonna put a curse on you.
Well, you've already put a curse on me. You've kept me from sleeping.
Come on, Gideon. It's time.
You have to give in.
You can't resist the bug.
Alright, guys. Enough with the glowing eyes. You've made your point. I'll come with you.
Yay, birthday!
Our characters are definitely playing into the usual YouTube cartoon setup of a trio of weirdos, 2 of whom have very strong personalities and can even get downright scary, while we have a bored, everyman character in Gideon, the hedgehog. Not much is known right away about where we are or these characters, but by seeing their interactions and personalities, there's enough of an appeal and enjoyment to go forward. We follow the trio to a room where Gideon is presented with a very, lackluster birthday cake celebrating 48 years.
Nara, that cake looks like it's seen better days.
Do you have any idea how hard it is to make a cake without hands?
Well, all I have is these paws. I can't even hold a spatula. All I can do is bat at frosting and look adorable.
Yeah, I miss having a body.
Yeah, me too.
I have no idea what you two are talking about.
Shut up and eat your cake.
Oh, okay, hold on a moment. Before we go forward, did anybody notice something odd about that interaction? Let's see if you were paying attention and visit it again.
Yeah, I miss having a body.
Yeah, me too.
The ghost, Nara, says that she misses having a body, to which the cat agrees, or empathizes. They both take a moment to seemingly reflect on a time when the ghost had a body, or possibly when both of them had a body. Gideon is clueless, but there's clearly something going on here suggesting something shared between the cat and ghost. This is a bit tricky. The dialogue is written in such a way that we don't know if the cat is agreeing it was better when the ghost, Nara, had a body, or if she used to have one too and she misses hers. The long pause following that moment really capitalizes on how a viewer should be noticing what happened. Even in the middle of classic wacky YouTube cartoon hijinks, we find something to clue us in that we may need to pay attention instead of just laying back and enjoying the fun. When we roll into the next scene, we get a really odd sight. The trio is seated on the control panel for an arcade game called Party Country. It wasn't actually a place they were talking about taking Gideon to, it was a game. Gideon is pushed to play the game despite thinking it's not really his style, and during a zoom out, we see that the cat and ghost have disappeared. But then we return to a close-up, and they're back in the frame, almost as if only Gideon can see them.
I don't know if you're looking in my direction, but I am playing the game.
Play. Play.
Alright, stop.
Play.
I'm playing, thank you. Thank you for noticing.
Gideon explores the game, coming across a melting red skeleton declaring, "It burns, I can't feel my skin," an odd sort of stone reminiscent of pagan summoning grounds, and a giant bust of an older man saying they must reunite. As soon as Gideon meets with it, the screen turns to static and we come back to the first world scene.
Oh, thank heavens, it was only a dream. Wait, what's that? Wow, it's that ugly cake. I guess it wasn't a dream. Oh well, bye.
Wait, was that a fourth wall break? Okay, now that really changes things. Gideon appears to be a self-aware character, or knows about us at least. If you've been following along with my videos on how to make a web series, then this establishes Gideon as a first-degree aware character in a setting filled with unaware characters. This is a much more classic setup in forms of media, especially cartoons, but still a pretty sudden turn of events. And now we have the counterpart to episode 1, a game in which you actually get to play Party Country. Clicking on the link will start the download, and after opening the file, you're immediately presented with Gideon's first appearance in the game during episode 1. We can control him using keyboard arrow keys, but we're only allowed to move left and right. Just as we saw during the video, we can encounter things that can be interacted with after moving to a new screen. The red skeleton is present, and by pressing the spacebar or enter key near it, the skeleton will repeat what was said during the episode. "It burns, I can't feel my skin." Try it again though, and it's going to say something different. "Trapped like a fly in a jar." Unfortunately, you can only witness the change once. Any more tries will result in the first sentence repeating. The red skeleton isn't all you'll find, however. There's the bust of an older man who says you should reunite, the odd summoning or speaking stone, and 2 new items. A chair suspended from rope, and another skeleton. This one is blue and shorter than the other. The blue skeleton says, "It's cold here. I can't breathe." I haven't had any luck in getting the blue one to say anything else. Items in the game appear to be randomly generated. There's no telling what you'll get whenever you open the game and where the items are going to appear. Something of particular interest is the speaking or summoning stone. If you try to interact with it, you'll be prompted to type a question. Commands are simple. Press enter when you're near the stone, type what you wish, press enter again, and wait for a response. I've already done this a few times, trying to guess the words to make the stone, which refers to itself as key, give me information. Who am I provides the answer, Gideon. Asking who is Gideon provides the answer, judge. Asking where Gideon is informs you that he's in a dark place. Switching tact from who and where, we try out why, asking why we're here. The answer? You are not allowed to pass. On a whim, I followed up that statement by saying, I don't understand. The keys reply, you will. Gathering evidence for this night vision entry took a few sessions of opening and closing the Party Country game. Because items were randomized, I really had to keep rolling the dice to catch everything, and at certain points I would stop to try talking to Key in the hopes of asking more questions that gave real replies instead of the failure response, "We do not understand." About 3 tries in, I began to get exactly what I was looking for, real replies. Whenever you say hello to Key, it says, "Ask your question." This time I got a new response. "Is someone there?" At first it seemed like a random event, similar to the appearance of items and their locations. It easily could have been that Key was designed to change its replies once in a while. But when I stated, "I am here, who are you?" I was met with a question in return. Did she send you? This was entirely new behavior for the Keystone. Who is she? I asked. The Key called me a liar, or was saying that she was a liar. I asked where I am, which gave back a reply you'll get at any point asking about location. Dark Forest. I decided to try throwing Key for a loop using a question that shouldn't register as any automated code response words. But why? And against all odds, it replied in context. "We all end up here." "Who is the cat?" I asked. "Thief," Key said. "What did she steal?" "Thief," Key repeated. "Who is the ghost?" "Watching, taking," Key said. "Taking what?" Innocence. And who am I? This question was only phrased a bit differently from when I asked before, but still, I got a new reply. Lost. Like us. "Who are you?" I asked. A long pause went by. Key seemed to be taking a while to respond. When it finally did, it said, "She knows you're here." I asked if I needed to leave. Key told me I could never leave, only wait. Asking about who she is again prompted Key to say, "She's listening." "Should I be scared?" I asked. Key replied, "I am." "Why are you scared?" "Because she is too." I tried a new tactic, asking, "What is CatGhost?" and got a huge response. "Nothing is sacred, nothing holds true, everything tries to make a fool out of you." That statement made me really consider what was happening with Key. It seemed like it had gotten way off of its coded replies as an element for the game. I might not have been able to trust it, and I certainly didn't know its angle. I decided to try throwing it one more vague sort of curveball. "Is there anything I really need to know?" The response came back, "Patience is key." I asked a few more things, trying to provoke it and see what it meant, but it kept repeating itself. Patience is key. The stone was done talking. Within a minute, it ended up going back to its default failed code word response. "We do not understand." I've gone back to Key a few more times since that encounter and tried the questions I asked over again, only to get more of the "we do not understand" reply. Whatever happened was as unique and random as appearances by items in the game. The impression I'm left with is that Key may very well be just like Tool from Petscop, but somebody made a version of Tool that you can actually go and talk to right now, and maybe have a conversation with. Honestly, if you have any interest in CatGhost at all, go to the first episode birthday, hit the link in the video description, and give this a try. If Key says anything that seems important to you, make a post on my official subreddit, r/nightmind, and I'll come by to take a look. The second episode of CatGhost, Knock, is much better viewed than summarized. It really hits a blend of humor and horror that beats the first episode by a good deal. Do yourselves a favor and check this one out in full on your own time after we're done here. What I will tell you about episode 2 right now is what I've learned about the game that comes along with it. The game for episode 2, Knock, is about, well, knocking. You're faced with the same input-dependent red door Gideon faces in the video, which will produce letters if you knock on it using different patterns. You can click on the door to knock on it and are allowed to knock up to 5 times in a row. The door counts one series of knocks punctuated by a screen of static, followed by a second series, and then it shows you a letter. Different combinations of knocks on the door from 1 to 5 in each couplet gives you various results naturally. It turns out the door is using tap code, one of the only forms of code in a web series or ARG I haven't seen until now, and it's in a context that actually makes sense, so automatically, that wins points with me. Tap code is very simple. You place the alphabet on a 5x5 grid, placing C and K together under row 1, column 3. If you wanted to spell NM, for instance, you would tap 3 times to go across, then 3 times to go down, and then tap twice to go across, followed by 3 down again. Tap a number of spaces horizontally, then vertically, and you get the letter that you need. There are only 2 codes I know of right now that work. The first is in the episode itself, written in a phrase carved into a wall. Megalith. Being that a megalith is a large stone that forms a prehistoric monument or is part of one, it should come as almost no surprise that knocking out the code opens the door to reveal our new friend, Key. At least we have a bit of confirmation on what Key is and its importance now. Another phrase that works is a bit tougher to find. Looking at the video tab, you'll catch that episode 2, Knock, is the only one with closed captions as an option. By turning them on, you'll catch a word during a while transition piece, libation. As a bonus, we also get a shot of what appear to be some very old buildings. Using the code libation on the door gives us a shot of Gideon's awful birthday cake. That's odd, seeing how a libation is a drink poured out as an offering to a deity. A cake is definitely not a drink, and Gideon certainly isn't treated like a deity. Could there be some kind of liquid inside the cake we might consider a libation? Perhaps the use of the word libation was sarcastic or ironic. We might need further clarification on this as the story unfolds. Finally, there's a game you can play with the end of the video for episode 2 itself to unlock a pretty big secret, and I call this one 40-piece pickup. As soon as the action closes out, we're treated to a scene of what looks like lava or some otherworldly fire burning, with a constant yellow light flashing. It almost appears random, but not quite enough for me to have dismissed it as an effect, and a quick experiment in my video editor confirms it. Stopping to catch all the frames where this happens gives you 40 separate frames that present unique pieces of a single image. By taking the pieces and breaking them down in Photoshop over the course of about 27 layers, we get this. It's clear enough to read by this point as it is, but because I felt like a completionist while putting the frames together, I decided to fill in the gaps a bit and make the image slightly more solid. Love, Skinwalker. We will see you all soon. And it seems what we're looking at on the right is a bone, a dagger, and a chicken, I suppose? A chicken. Some kind of half-hatched chicken poking its beak, eye, wing, tail feathers, and feet out of an egg? I've seen some weird hidden messages before, but this one really tops them all. But as far as hiding secret messages in your web series go without making it overly easy and obvious, I think CatGhost did pretty well. The Skinwalker message is actually a great touch. Clearly there's a character here we haven't met who may be a villain to our main characters or a menace watching from the shadows. The Skinwalker is most likely the mysterious woman our friend Key was mentioning during the sudden moment of actual conversation. Like the rest of CatGhost, the secret message has an equal balance of humor and offbeat horror, with plenty of promise that seriously interesting and potentially horrifying things are coming. After all, a Skinwalker by definition is a type of harmful witch who has the ability to turn into, possess, or disguise themselves as an animal, usually for the purposes of harming people. There's something pretty evil lurking around the woods where the trio are living. I would definitely give the game from episode 2 a shot and try using keywords you might find in the series, and absolutely do watch the episode Knock. I also advise you do the same for episode 3, Window, which is quite different from the usual CatGhost fare by offering 3D graphics, a sudden dose of characterizing backstory and plot, a perplexing ending, and a game so odd I haven't even figured out the trick behind it yet. There's also the matter of the CatGhost website, which holds an image of the door from episode 2 and a field of stars, but nothing else quite yet. Source code doesn't reveal any secrets, but if there's a website, it's definitely here for a reason. We'll have to keep our eyes on that one for any changes. And, just as I was working on this episode of Night Vision, it appears a new episode dropped. CatGhost 4, Circle, seems to expand on what begins in episode 3, providing backstory in a very unexpected way while also serving up some humor and character hijinks. There is, of course, another game that goes along with it, and it's the most fun yet, with a rather foreboding message from the Skinwalker hidden in the high scores. The game asks you to put your name in at the beginning, which is why mine shows up here, but it's followed by a message clearly not aimed at any player. You two will pay for what? And then it trails off. I'd say more about CatGhost 4, but as I feel with every Night Vision entry, I really want you all to experience what I've discovered for yourselves, so I'm only giving you as much as you need to get started. This series is just way too good to spoil. In all, CatGhost is a giant breath of fresh air. In line with what I've been teaching and how to make a web series, this is very much a purple path approach. CatGhost is walking right down the middle of blue and red path, telling us a character-driven, event-heavy story through our first fully animated web series, but also serving up game elements with each episode, unlocking pieces of the narrative and raising questions that we didn't even think to ask ourselves. It's still very early in the project, so our journey into what's actually going on has only just started, but this is a channel to watch for sure. I'm not going to just recommend that you subscribe to CatGhost. I'm going to tell you, do it. There is nothing else like this in the web series field, and certainly nothing doing things as unique, complicated, difficult, time-consuming, and with as much quality and delivery. I absolutely love this project and expect things are only going to get crazier from here on out. Do yourselves a favor. Subscribe to CatGhost, watch episodes 2, 3, and 4, play the games, just jump right in. Enjoy. This is one of the most unique projects I've ever covered, and it's getting my gold standard praise. I anticipate amazing developments from this series, and know that we're in for an awesome ride. Major appreciation goes out to all of you for joining me for another episode of Night Vision, and especially to my viewers on Patreon, who give me the power to hunt down great new web series like CatGhost all the time. Stick around to see the names of all these incredible supporters. Thanks for joining me in the dark again this evening. Once more, I'm Nick Nocturne, and I'll be seeing you again real soon. Sleep tight.